Hello, everybody, and welcome to my free workshop, Leading Your Family Holistically. My name is Dania. I am a mother of 3 children. We are unschoolers. I am a free birther. I'm a long-time energy worker and forest communer. And what I mean by that is that I will find my peace when I am out in nature, in a mossy, dense forest. I will feel like I can just hear nature and spirit. I am a pagan witch, a worshipper of seasons and natural cycles and the dark feminine. And I am a Reiki master teacher. But I feel like that is really just a label that we stick on to explain what it's like to be able to be the conduit of energy and feel that energy moving through you and into another and passing that energy using your body as the vessel. So that's the terminology, but it's got a bit of a deeper meaning for me. I'm also a clinical naturopath with a Bachelor of Health Science, naturopathy, which means that I am a clinical herbalist, clinical nutritionist, holistic counselor. All of that encompasses what I am here to share with you. My archetypal energy, this is something that I go into with my clients, is uncovering these inner archetypes. So my dominant energies are medicine woman, mother, huntress, lover, and priestess. So why are you here? So my feeling is that you want to guide your family with natural healing. You know the importance of low tox living. You value connected, respectful family relationships. You are called to raise your child in alignment with intuition and nature and heart-centered energy. You know that you are raising children who are here to contribute to an evolution of the planet. But all of this is feeling a bit of overwhelm, and you can feel like you are really struggling under the burnout of all of these um, values and expectations, and we're setting ourselves up here to take on a lot. Hey, I feel it too, with everything that's involved in mothering holistically. So you want to lead your family holistically, but what does that mean to you, to me? Let's have a look at that. Holistic mothering means that you are on a spiritual path. Your motherhood is this spiritual phenomenon that's grounded in earth wisdom and this intuitive knowing and this trusted confidence. So that's what holistic mothering means to me. It's not just physically caring. We're not just giving our kids great food and shelter and clothing and making sure that we've ticked all of the boxes, but they're meeting all of their physical needs. It's not just being there emotionally to help them grow into a strong emotional intelligence. Being aware of other people's emotions and how to maneuver or consider other people with compassionate communication. It's not just spiritually caring. It's not just providing them with connection to the divine, connection to earth energy, teaching them about the cycles and the energy and how to be that conduit within themselves and have that deep trust of their own intuition. And it's not just mentally caring, making sure that they have a good growth mindset, that they are speaking of themselves highly in their own heads, that they are attuned to their own mental wellness. It's all of this encompassed together. Yeah. The whole is greater than the sum of the parts, is what that technical term is for holistic. So, holistic medicine is when we consider the interactions between all of these different things. We can't just have physical health without emotional, spiritual, and mental health also having contributed towards that physical health. We can't just have spiritual health without being able to consider the physical, the emotional, and the mental that intertwine and connect with this to create the holistic success, or the way that it all functions and works the way that it's supposed to. So the whole, all of it together, is greater than the sum of its parts. Just one thing on its own is not going to make as big a difference unless we look at all of it together. So, what's going on within families today? What I'm seeing with a lot of families that I'm working with over the years is that we're seeing a lot of lost connection. Mothers are coming to me saying that they just want to build long-standing relationships with their family. We've got marriages breaking down, we've got busyness and hustle, and everybody's feeling really stressed and burnt out, massive amounts of fatigue from not just parents, mothers, taking on the load of so many different roles in society, but also from our kids feeling burnt out and under a lot of different pressures. And yes, this leads to anxiety, this leads to meltdowns, communication breakdowns within partnerships, and that can be between mother and child, and it also can be between partnerships as well, the marriage or the relationship that's holding up the family. And then there's this underlying confusion of what's best for the whole family and not knowing what path to take, not knowing what choices to make for the best of the family. And so that could be knowing that the path that you're on just doesn't feel right in your soul. This is where I was when my eldest was, 3 years old, was that I just knew that there was a different way for us. I was working corporate. I had my kids in daycare, and it just felt so wrong to me. And I didn't really know another way around it because everybody that I knew was in that same rat race and in that same movement. And it was really breaking apart from that and not knowing who to ask or what to do about this urge deep within me that was telling me to do something different. And so I can see that a lot unfolding, is that knowing where to trust within yourself, when to make these decisions, is something that I want to empower women with today. And yeah, I believe that we're ready for a revolution. We need change. Because what's going on with our kids today? We have kids that are in loads of overstimulated. We've got school refusal, meltdowns, disrupted behavior, disrupted sleep, lost concentration, food sensitivities, allergies. We've got anxiety and depression, other mental health things coming up, ASD and ADHD, diagnosed or undiagnosed. We've got a system that can't keep up with the amount of support that everybody is requiring, and neuroinflammation is bubbling under the surface for a lot of these things. When leading your family holistically, we need to approach this from a root cause. So, some possible root causes are that as a family, as a society, we're being pushed out of alignment with our natural cycles and therefore our circadian rhythms. We're pushed to parent against our natural instincts. We've been losing connection with our spiritual bodies. We have children raised by their peers, by the internet, and something that I want to share with you around that is that the opposite to connection is belonging. There is a huge undercurrent of everybody, from our children to us as women in society, everybody, even our partners, a push for belonging. wanting to fit in, wanting to be accepted, wanting to do the right thing, lots of people pleasing going on. And all of this is breaking down our deeper parts of raw vulnerability and connection. So, coming back to that, fatigue and burnout is pushing us to rely on artificial processed foods. This is therefore limiting our gut bacteria, our variations of different strains of bacteria, and depleting our vital mineral stores. So if we look at gut health as a root cause, why did our gut get into this situation? Why is our gut diminished in our positive, beneficial bacteria and depleted in mineral stores? Why are we choosing these foods? Is it because this is what's going to be the easiest for the majority? Is it because I'm too tired after a long day and this is just going to work? Is it from a financial perspective? There's that huge insecurity of food. Lots of things that need to be considered around this. The root cause isn't just the environmental toxins that are accumulating in our bodies that contribute to that neuroinflammation, and they all confuse our hormonal pathways, but we're looking at why did we end up with these environmental toxins? What's going on in the world today? Coming back to that, we need a revolution, absolutely. And other underlying factors that I want to consider with you. Generational conditioning, what we've been taught to accept as our normal, ancestral patterning, what we are conditioned to accept or want, what is our code of honor that we accept to be able to fit into our community, into our tribe, into our baseline of survival, of where we fit in and find a place within our community. And this leads into things like roots of trauma, things like that. Energetic witch or mother wounds that impact the societal expectations. And these are something that I consider and delve into. Our witch wounds is where we are afraid of being different or going against the grain or standing out or doing things differently or trusting our intuition and doing things that are unexpected, or trusting our wisdom above others that we are taught that we should be looking up to and following others' guidance. We want to do things our own way because it feels right in our bones. I've been there, and that I knew that what we were doing, the way that we were raising our children, was not the path for us. And it took a lot to break out of those societal expectations that you have the corporate job, you take your kids to the good schools, you do all of these things to lead that life. So breaking against that and trusting your inner intuition that there's a different way and that you've got that power within you is huge. And that comes back to that energetic witch wound. And the mother wounds are about all of our enoughness and what it takes to be a woman and what we need to do to be accepted as a woman and our feminine drive. Well, I touch on all of that too as possible root causes for what's going on today. So I think it's important that we talk about neurodivergence, ADHD, and autism spectrum. So my understanding around this is that it is inherited. It is brain differences. So yes, we do see them coming down the line. So we can look at this on an energetic perspective of every time we move down a generational lineage from our parents, our grandparents, every time we move down that lineage, somebody is breaking some parts of that cycle and evolving into these new awarenesses of self. And I think that as soon as we go down that family line, we can see patterns of brain differences, of evolving, of sharing different traits that are different to societal expectations. I don't believe that our neurodivergence is something that we need to cure. Okay, I don't believe that we can cure any of these differences within who we are in ourselves. And I say we because I identify being on the spectrum. And I see it as that higher energetic frequency. Like I said, we're calling in this new energy to the planet, and we are in this new Earth generation. We're here to make changes. And just as I have this level of awareness and understanding about myself, our children have this deeper awareness, and they're called into pay a deeper awareness and attention to these differences. And these differences are called to stand out and say, I do not fit into this system that's not working, and I need change. I need revolution to be able to come back into this heart energy. And yes, when we're on these different brain wavelengths or brain differences, different energetic frequencies, we are more susceptible to neuroinflammation. And neuroinflammation is influenced by our gut health and our toxicities. So it's not, these neurodivergences are not caused by diet or vaccines, but it's definitely going to be exacerbated by poor diet choices or more toxicities from things like vaccines or heavy metal exposure, environmental toxicity. So this means that I see an exacerbation in symptoms and challenges that neurodivergent people have when gut health and toxicity is not addressed. And we can help increase the skills and the ability to be able to process different changes and feelings and everything that comes along with a different brain when we have our toxicity and gut health thriving. We require higher energetic frequency of mothering when we are working with neurodivergent children and within neurodivergent families. We need to move into a different frequency. So how do we help this? We support it from the root cause, coming back to all of those probable root causes, having a look at your individual family circumstances, knowing that prevention is better than cure. And these are the naturopathic principles here that I want to touch on. Prevention is better than cure, making sure that we're living a life that is supportive for the way that we will be thriving. And that can be holistically, physically, with the foods that we're eating. It can be energetically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, taking into consideration all of those things in a way that prevention is better than having to go back in and deal with finding that safety net again. The other principle is first do no harm, is that we're moving in here with ways that we can support you to thrive and not to give you more things that are going to lead to other side effects, like different medications, fill in the gaps, but then you've got other things that you have to deal with because of those medications. We're looking to do as little harm as possible and use the smallest amount of force to get the highest amount of results. So moving gently, tweaking the system so that the body can take over with that vital force, that innate drive to heal. So let me share with you about the gut-brain axis. The gut-brain axis is that communication pathway between your gut and the brain. So most of us will have some symptoms of poor gut health, whether we realize it or not. That may look like digestive issues, diarrhea, constipation, abdominal pain, reflux either before or after eating, IBS, bloating, ulcers, lots of different types of gut issues that is very, very common these days. But it can also look like allergies, depression, anxiety, fatigue, or even chronic fatigue, autoimmune conditions, also behavioral challenges, brain fog, not being able to think clearly, sleep issues, eczema, weight struggles, asthma, all of these different influences from poor gut health. And that is because of that gut-brain connection. When we have an abundance and a variation within our microflora, those bacteria within our gut, as well as integrity and health of our gut mucosa, meaning the wall of our intestines. This determines the neurotransmitters that are produced and provided to our brain function, and it provides the ability for our vital minerals to be absorbed and utilized, like iron, B12, for example, and the relationship with inflammation as well, immune and hormonal regulation, and our mental health. It all depends on this abundance and variation of our microflora. We are interconnected beings, and this is why I am so obsessed with holistic health. Okay, for supporting our families, we need to make sure that we have a thriving gut health. So we need to clear the obstacles to thriving physically and energetically. Some basic foundations are getting enough rest, being exposed to nature, detoxifying, having a body that is going to detoxify for us. We have innate systems that do this. We don't need to do extra stuff except support what's already there. Make sure our gut health is thriving. That's one of the ways we can help our detoxification pathways. Doing our shadow work and going back to our roots with ancestral nutrition. So how do we do that? We already know that we want our kids eating whole foods, fruits, veggies, eggs, etc. But when we have fussy eaters, it can be really hard to get that nourishment in. I know all about that. I've got fussy eaters myself. And it can feel like a minefield out there with so many foods being demonized. And you're not sure what's the best way to feed these kids. But I'm going to share with you some ancestral nutrition practices that you can implement in your home to nourish your family at their roots. So let's remember that quote, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food, by Hippocrates. So first off, short cooked meat stocks. So broths are foundation to healing the gut, and they are a traditional foundation to many home-cooked meals. So they're a beautiful base to soups, stews, sauces, and a nourishing warm drink that hugs you from the inside. I love always having some short-cooked meat stocks in the fridge, in the freezer, ready to go. Because whenever you are in a recipe and it calls for stock, don't go for the little cubes that, come in the little foil. Have this on hand, because this is going to give you that deep nutrition that heals and seals the gut mucosa, that wall of the gut, and it provides highly available minerals and nutrients that means that they're easily absorbed and utilized by their body. You're giving it these nutrients right at the source. So short cooked meat stocks contain essential amino acids, proline and glycine, and they're like the glue that holds together our connective tissue. So in our gut, we have these gap junctions, these cells that sit close together like this, and we only have one wall of cells between our gut and our blood supply. So if we have damage within those gap junctions, which means those cells start to separate, then we are opening the pathway for some of the things that are moving through our digestive system to get into the blood when they're not supposed to. And that's commonly known as leaky gut. Leads on to things like immune dysregulation and hormone issues, and lots of things like that can lead from this root cause. Bone broths are different to short cooked meat stocks. So you might have heard of bone broth before. Bone broths are cooked for much longer, and that can actually destroy the vital amino acids, the proline and the glycine that glue those gap junctions together. But it also produces things like histamine, which leads to more inflammation, and glutamates, which actually works as an aggravator to our neurotransmitters in our brains, which can make us feel a bit more hyperactive or aggravated, irritable, different things like that. So that can create a lot more issues throughout our body systems. So my recommendation is create a weekly ritual to brew up your very own broths. So the way that I do this is gather some uncooked joint bones with meat still on them. So I actually use a whole chicken. You can use lamb shanks or chicken thighs with the bones still in them. Place them in a stock pot or a slow cooker and cover it with the filtered water. You can add salt. Apple cider vinegar will help to break those bones down and get the nutrients out of that a bit faster. Cook it on high for 2 hours for chicken or 3.5 hours for lamb or beef. And then in the last half hour of cooking, you can add any veggies or herbs that you like. So that you might like to add some medicinal mushrooms or turmeric. And we'll talk about some of those herbs later on in the slides that you can add in. And then set it aside to cool. Strain that liquid. So I just use a sieve and move it through there. Take the whole chicken out or the bones out and strip the meat off the bones. Use that for dinner. And keep all of that liquid and bottle it up in glass jars. And then you've got that to add to things like your bolognese sauce. You can have it in just a cup in the morning. It's a beautiful way to heal your gut, seal those mucosa walls first thing in the morning before you have any food. Utilizing organ meats. So I'm talking your liver, your heart, your kidneys, these different things. Organ meats are the original multivitamin. Ancestrally, we would have eaten nose to tail for our animals, taken advantage of the whole animal that we've been blessed with to get all of our nutrition from. It is the most nutrient-dense food that you can eat. They are rich in B vitamins, especially B12 and folate. They're high in minerals, including iron, magnesium, zinc, selenium, and vitamins A, D, K, and E. So we're looking for organic, pasture-raised beef or chicken liver, kidneys, and heart. They're a great way to support your body's natural detoxification pathways and build healthy blood, bones, and brains. So what I would do is I get the liver and I pop them in my blender and blend it all up into a big puree, freeze it in ice cube trays, and then pop them out into a little bag in the freezer. And whenever I make up a meat sauce or a stew, casserole, you just pop a cube out into that food because we don't need very much of it. Okay, so I just do that. You could also make a pate out of the chicken livers. Great way to do it and get kids into it because they love dipping things. If eating organ meat is a turnoff for you, I get it because it took me a really long time to build up to doing this. You can get capsulated organ meats in powdered forms that you can take on their own, just capsule them down. You can add those capsules to kids' smoothies to get them into the kids in an easier way. And I will have some supplements up on my store, so you can come and check that out at daniafoster.com and see if you want to have a try of the supplement forms, or ask me about different ways that you can include organ meats in your family meal plan. Cooking with ghee. So ghee is clarified butter. It's really nourishing. It was considered sacred in India. Animal fats are extremely nutrient dense. So I recommend using animal fats like tallow, ghee, and butter in your cooking. And on your face, I love using tallow on my face. Ghee is clarified butter. It is high in conjugated linoleic acid, and this supports your immune system and actually helps your body with weight management. So we don't need to be afraid of fats. Okay, they will help us to feel more satiated, more full. So these good quality fats are going to really help our body. Pregnancy and lactation, if you're breastfeeding, these are super nourishers. This is another liquid gold. We call bone broths and short cooked meat stocks your liquid gold. These are another form of liquid gold that you can add to your motherhood toolkit. So milk solids are removed through the clarification process. So most people who can't tolerate lactose, they're able to have ghee without any problems. But if you are reactive to the proteins within dairy, like your caseins and whey, then we would work to heal the gut and then trial having something like ghee in a few months' time and see how your body tolerates after healing the gut mucosa. So here is a little recipe on the side here on how to make ghee. So if you want to screenshot that, feel free and give it a go. So culinary herbs beyond seasoning. We are used to knowing that we can cook up some garlic and onion with salt and pepper, your basics. That's going to give you your basic foundation for seasoning any meal, right? And we know the benefits of garlic and how good it is for us for um, anti-inflammatory and antibacterial for colds and all of these different things. But here I've got 5 different herbs that you can start adding into your meals, and teas and juices and things like that that are going to be supportive for your family's health, preventing immune dysregulation, supporting our immune system, supporting gut health by just adding these different herbs into your meals. So turmeric. Turmeric is a favorite anti-inflammatory. It's great for preventing immune system problems and for healing the gut. It also is going to improve cognition, for your brain function and help clear brain fog, ease joint pain, eases period pain. You could make a golden milk, which is something like almond milk or coconut milk with turmeric spiced through that. You could have a turmeric tea. You could add it to smoothies or juices or stir fries or curries or soups or stews. You can see I've got yellow fingers today from adding turmeric to soup last night. So we just grate that up and add it in, or you could get the powdered form and scoop that up and add it in. It is most bioavailable, which means your body can utilize it the fastest by adding some fats and some black pepper to that, and that activates the active component curcumin within the turmeric. So just put some black pepper in there with it, add a scoop of the ghee or butter or coconut oil or whatever you're using, or coconut cream if you're using a curry. All of those things will help to activate it and utilize its anti-inflammatory properties. Ginger, another great anti-inflammatory, really specific for gut inflammation. So this is great for reducing that fermentation that bubbles up when we have overabundance of the opportunistic bacteria or the bad bacteria within our guts, gut overgrowths or yeast overgrowths. Great for clearing inflammation, menstrual pain. You can make a ginger tea, smoothies, juices, curries, soups, stews, all of that. Add some ginger. Oregano is a powerful antioxidant, meaning it overpowers toxicity within cells and works to protect against damage from free radicals. It is a great antimicrobial, and it may support gut health with bacterial yeast overgrowth. You can use it in tea, pasta sauces, stews, pizza toppings. Get some more oregano in your life. The fresh stuff is best. Okay, thyme is another powerful antimicrobial. It's great for easing bacterial overgrowth within the gut, maintaining healthy mucous membranes, so that can be within the respiratory system. So thyme tea is a go-to for me when everybody's starting to feel a bit snuffly, but also mucous membranes within the gut, so intestinal mucous membranes. It's really high in vitamin C and vitamin A, so it's going to support immunity as well. Okay, I love using it in things like shepherd's pie or with roast chicken. Lots of things that you can use thyme with as well. Fennel. Fennel is a beautiful herb. You can use the seeds for this, support digestion, reduces bloating. So it's really good for childhood or infant colic, bloating, anti-inflammatory actions, as well as antibacterial. It's great at curbing the appetite and supporting weight management. It's also really good at supporting breast milk production. So if you are breastfeeding, this is a really good one because that will go through the milk and support the infant colic and bloating, ease tummy aches. Okay, it's also something that I will use to regulate some specific hormones if we're looking at some hormone dysregulation. So it's a great one that you can use in teas and stews and roasts, and I love adding it to my fermented veggies and sauerkrauts. So let's talk about fermented foods. Fermented foods contain enzymes that support our digestion, which means that they're going to help our food that we're eating to break down so that we're getting the most optimization of the nutrients within that food, as well as having stacks of beneficial bacteria within them. So kefir contains one of my favorites for healing gut overgrowth, which is Saccharomyces boulardii, or SB. So if you've worked with me before for healing the gut, you probably been prescribed some SB because I think it is absolutely wonderful for working with that gut mucosa. Working off testing results, I will usually recommend specific strains of probiotics of practitioner quality supplements, or a broad spectrum probiotic within treatment, but as something that you don't want to be on supplements long term. So what we start to introduce is wild probiotics from fermented foods. And these can be a great way to supply a higher range and a huge spectrum of good bacteria that helps your gut to thrive on a long-term basis. So we would just start with a tablespoon of the liquid from the sauerkraut or kimchi or whatever fermented food that you have. Start with just a tablespoon of the liquid. You can add that to your salad dressing, or you could add that to your eggs in the morning. And then you'd slowly increase it to a tablespoon of fermented veggies or sauerkraut with each meal. So with fermented foods, it's more about the consistency than the quantity when it comes to having these foods in your diet, so that we can ensure a continuous supply of these beneficial bacteria. Get a huge range of lots of different things happening within your gut, and it's going to thrive. So here on the side, we have some examples of some different types of fermented foods you might like to try. So we have sauerkraut, pickled vegetables, salsa, kombucha, kimchi, tempeh, kefir, yogurt, that could be dairy or coconut yogurt will do, miso, natto, fire ciders, and garlic and honey. Some great ways to introduce fermented foods to your family. So we've talked about probiotic foods. Let's talk about prebiotic foods, because we need both prebiotics and probiotics to thrive within a healthy gut ecosystem. So prebiotic foods are high in specific fibers that support digestive health because they feed our beneficial bacteria. It is the food that our beneficial bacteria will thrive on. So when our gut microbiome is healthy and well fed, it produces short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, acetate, and propionate. And that's what our body needs for maintaining our metabolic health, meaning that's the efficiency of our body's chemical processes. And this will promote friendly, supportive bacterial colonies to grow within the gut, reducing many digestive issues and improving things like your immunity, mental health, and hormone balance. So ensuring we have a diet that's lush with these types of fiber is a great way to prevent diseases within your family and improve everyone's well-being. So we have some different types of prebiotic foods over here that we can include in our diet. So green bananas, I don't know about you, but my kids love the green bananas. As soon as they get a black spot, they don't want them anymore. They go in smoothies and things. Apple. The apple skin has pectin in it, and I love encouraging my clients to use stewed apples on a regular basis for gut health. Leeks, my little saying is a leek a week. Flax seeds, dandelion greens, artichoke, garlic, onions, asparagus, pomegranate seeds, favorite, oats, and cacao. So having hot cocoa in the night, beautiful. Add some reishi in there for immune health, love it. Okay, so the way that I support my clients with this is looking for the root cause. So this will involve in-depth case taking and shadow work to look at the individual story and the family dynamics and what's going on for your situation and where did this all come from. We do functional testing. So we do HTMA testing, which is hair tissue mineral analysis, which will help to show us any environmental toxicities that we may have from heavy metals. It also shows us the ratios between different minerals within our tissues. So that will give us indications of how our body is interacting between things like our thyroid and our adrenal glands, and working against, is our body in a high stress state or is our body in a depleted and shutting down state. So being able to know on that individual level where the body is based on its tissue stores, because it's going to show more of where the body is at based on what minerals are stored in the tissue, rather than just looking at pathology, which we'll also look at to see where the body is at in the blood. The body's always going to prioritize pathology and keep the homeostasis or the balance of minerals happening in the blood, but it may disregard what's happening in the tissues to be able to keep that in balance. We're also going to look at microbiome mapping. So you can see down here a little sample of one of my clients' microbiomes. This is the beneficial bacteria reading. So we can see that this one here had some depletions happening here. So being able to look at this on a strain specific level is going to help us to know the direct route of how to treat this and to see what is going on within the diet or the environment that's depleting those particular strains. So this is how we determine root cause of different imbalances that are going on. We also then support the body to heal by strengthening body systems, energetic frequencies, and the body's vitality, which is its innate drive to heal itself. So we support and lift the body systems, strengthen them to take over and do this on their own. So treatment may look like customized nutritional plans. It may look like rituals and rhythms that heal. It may look like clinical herbal medicine, clinical nutritional supplementation, establishing energetic boundaries, and clearing energetic wounds. So we are establishing the foundations for your family to thrive. When we are looking at holistic healing for the families, it's important that the mother gets to integrate her physical, her energetic, and her own life story to bring each of these elements into you as you choose. And you get to be the priestess of your motherhood because we have all of these 13 energetic archetypes within us. We have the inner child within us that needs to be seen. We have the maiden within us that needs to be acknowledged. We have the creatress, the huntress, the wild woman, the lover, the wife, the mother, the maga, the queen, the medicine woman, the wise woman, and the priestess. We have all of these different parts within us. And when we are able to get to know each of these different archetypes with our own selves, it'll empower us to be the leader that our family really needs right now. So to get here, you need a naturopathic mentor. That's me. So I offer you my 6-month mentorship, which is called the Priestess of Motherhood Journey. So this is with the goal to demystify holistic mothering and guide you to be the one who takes the reins to lead your family. So I want to set you up with the toolkit, the skills, the confidence, that trust within your own intuition to be able to make the decisions and guide your family through whatever it is that's arising. Seek the help that you need. This is all about bringing your inner strength of purpose and passion to reclaim your own magic. Okay, not just as a mom, but through the ownership of your own divine feminine energy, that reclaiming of your womanhood, and the worthiness to take up space as a priestess in this motherhood phase of your life. So it is a 6-month mentorship journey. We do fortnightly 90-minute sessions. We've got space to delve into the deep parts of shadow work and stories and where this has all come from to be able to unleash these different parts of yourself. Whilst it's also including the cost. So it's $3,000 for 6 months with me, a naturopath in your pocket, but it's including the cost of 2 of my most favorite functional tests that I believe that we need this information for everybody. The HTMA, hair tissue mineral analysis, and the complete gut microbiome mapping, which is going to show us every living thing within your gut. So it's including both of those so we can get a deep look at what's going on for you and giving you the tools to support your family to thrive. I also have a payment plan here where we have a $550 deposit, and that will help get your tests underway as soon as possible. And then 12 monthly payment plans for this extended payment plan that I'm offering for you today. And that's 205 Australian dollars per month. And that makes it a bit easier for you to jump on board. Okay. So if you want to get started with this, if you want to just ask me some questions, if you want to just have a chat to me to see if this is something that is for you, if this is right for you and your family, please send me an email, dania@daniafoster.com, or you can DM me on socials and let me know that you want to find out more, or you can simply book a free connection call on my website. All consults are held online via video conference. So after your consultation, I send you a written treatment plan and prescription by email with access to my practitioner, quality herbs and supplements, and a plan that gives you step-by-step things to do. It's time to support you so that you can reclaim this grounded mother that your highly sensitive child has chosen to journey with on this path called life. So I'm here for you if you need me. If you have any questions, reach out and let me know. I'll be here.